Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Rachel Smith, the Business Coach. It is Monday. Woohoo! And I'm going to talk to you about using social media in a really effective, brilliant way in business. I have no idea why that happened. I'm on the phone today because my computer has decided that it's not linked to the internet this morning, which is always useful, isn't it? So let's put this into context then. So this weekend, hi Jen, love to see you. This weekend I went to a beautiful yoga retreat that was run by my amazing client Alison Goodwin from Yoga with Alison, and I go every year to this beautiful location in the Yorkshire Dales, and every year we have a theme. So we've looked at all sorts of different things, and you could imagine my horror when Alison disclosed what the theme was for this weekend. And the theme was to have a social media detox. And the idea, quite clearly, was to switch off our social media and then to really delve into what the impact is about having social media in our lives, and looking at ways that you can maybe use social media differently. And I wasn't too horrified, if I was completely honest, because actually when I returned fully back to business in September, I'd already started to use social media quite differently. So I think this is a really great discussion to kind of bring from the retreat into Live Your Abundant Life, because obviously we're on social media, we use social media to grow our businesses. And I'm not going to sit here today and tell you it's a terrible thing, because I am actually a fan of using social media to build your business. But I think there are some more effective ways to use social media than perhaps are commonly used at the moment. So what I'd love to hear is from yourself, how do you feel about your social media interactions and how it supports you and your business? So let's have a really engaged conversation about this, because obviously we spent 2.5 days talking about this on the retreat this weekend, and lots of people had lots of aha moments about it, and I think it's a really brilliant topic for us as solopreneurs to talk about as well. So let me talk about how I use social media as well. So, let's get the conversation started this morning. So the way that I use social media is, clearly I use social media to promote my business, and we'll explore what that looks like in a little while. But I also use social media to be connected to like-minded people. These are always people who I would look to become clients of mine. And this is an aspect that's really important to me. Using social media in a business is important to me. But one of the key aspects is about being connected to people who understand what it takes to run a business. And in my personal life, I have perhaps one friend who runs a business, but she doesn't run a business like mine. Everybody else works for other people. So actually I have, in like my person-to-person world, I have really literally nobody who understands what it takes to run a business as we run our businesses, predominantly online. So one of the things that I'm very grateful for social media is creating connections with other people who do run their business online. Where it caused a problem for me is in my early years of running a business, when I was full of doubt and fear and very much anxious about if I was running business right, I would have people in my social media life that actually triggered me. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these people. These were people who are great, but actually what I discovered is that for me personally, when I was following them, I became very, very triggered about following them. So nowadays, how that looks is that I am connected to people who I find really inspiring, really motivational, who I genuinely feel as though I've got a brilliant connection with. And that has taken some time, and I think that's really important for you to put in place, is to ensure that whoever is appearing in your social media feed actually is a good fit for you. In the same way that you wouldn't accept a friend request from somebody you didn't like or who felt a little bit toxic, it's exactly the same in the rest of our social media usage. It's about ensuring that you're following people who lift you up, who really provide something that you want and need. Let's see what Jen said. Yeah, so Jen said that she feels exactly the same, that none of her friends are self-employed. So it can feel very lonely, and it can feel as though you don't have a safe place to go and speak your truth or to be inspired as well. And sometimes when we make the mistake of maybe talking through a challenge with somebody who doesn't understand what it's like to be self-employed, they can provide advice which is just not very useful. So for one of the things that I'm very grateful for social media is connect me with people who do get this crazy world. Yeah, exactly, Jen. I think that's absolutely right. That social media has got many brilliant things for us as entrepreneurs, and we'll explore about this topic about how you can switch off social media but still grow your business, because ultimately, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that I use social media for two things. One of it is about being connected to other people who can support me as a solopreneur, through Facebook groups, or if I follow inspirational people, or if I'm working with a coach or a mastermind or something like that. I find that that's a really, really positive in place to be. The second reason why I use social media for my business is to promote my services, but this is what we're going to explore in a little while. Definitely. Yeah, so yeah, exactly, Jen. You've got to be very select about who you follow. And if somebody triggers the hell out of you, you've got to make a decision about whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. When I'm triggered, it's a negative thing. So I need to either understand the trigger and work through it, or in most cases, I need to unfollow that person. So I think the key message that came up through my social media detox weekend was about boundaries. And I think in terms of protecting your mindset, boundaries is a really key thing on social media. Yeah, exactly. So Jen was just there. I was just thinking this morning, I need to talk something through with someone who understands. Definitely. We all do that. Now, you can apply that right across any aspect of your life. You tend to have people in your life who can support you. When I was pregnant, I went to a pregnancy class and I met loads of similar-minded people who were pregnant, and then we met up once babies were born, and they were so supportive in this completely new world that I had no experience about. So it's exactly the same in business, isn't it? None of us know how to run a business. It's all something that we're learning. Some of us, like myself, are maybe further down the journey than you are. So actually, what do you need? You need to be connected to people, either on a one-to-one basis or on a group basis, where you can be supported and you can talk through things, just like Jen said. But actually, the thing with social media is that it's quite addictive. So I've expressed, I've got two really clear reasons why I use social media for my business. But social media is very, very addictive. We have, as human beings, we are programmed for that kind of fear of missing out. So as I sit here now, on my desk, I have my desktop, I have my iPad, and I have my phone. 3 things where I can receive information from social media. Now, in the past, and let's have some hearts and some thumbs up if this is resonating with you, but I have definitely been working at my desk with my social media tabs open. So notifications would be coming through all the time. Now, I am not disciplined enough to leave those notifications alone. Morning, Judith. Morning, Louise. yeah, so Louise is saying, I've had to use social media for my business. Social media does distract me from work. Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to talk about today. And Judith agrees that it's so addictive. So yeah, so my past kind of working experience was to, you know, I've already described, I've got 3 devices on my desk alone that can actually be pushing notifications towards me. And of course, what we've got to recognise is that social media platforms are built to get us to look at them. You know, that's what they're built for. So nobody's going to sit there in like the land of Facebook or Snapchat or YouTube and think, right, okay, how can we be less distracting? They want you to be distracted. Yeah, so Jen's got the same setup as me. She's like surrounded by amazing technology that, you know, again, I feel very grateful that we have this technology because it allows us to run these businesses. But what happens is that we start to respond to those notifications. And somebody told me this years ago, and it's always stuck in my mind, is that whenever you are distracted by social media, so let's say you read a notification or you read somebody's comments on something, it takes 60 seconds for you to get back into you're like the place where you were before, you know, a place of not being distracted. So if you have sat on social media for 20 minutes, it's going to take you a flipping long time to filter through all that information and get back to the place where you were. And what definitely happened for me in the past is that when I was like following the wrong people or being triggered by people and not working through that stuff myself, is that I would be sat on social media when I was maybe feeling really stuck in my business or maybe sat there procrastinating. So I'd go into social media and I'd scroll through everything and then I'd come out the other side feeling utterly worthless, more stuck and more frustrated than I had before. So can you see why I'm saying it's so important to actually ensure that you're following people who are helpful? Judith says that she thinks it's longer than 60 seconds. So there we are. We're all trying to create a freedom business. This is what is ironic. And that's the kind of push-pull with social media, isn't it? Is that we use social media so we can have this flexibility and we can use all the opportunities that social media gives us. But it means that we get obsessed with social media. We get obsessed with having our tablets and our iPads and our phones and our desktops and our notifications on, and we basically spend the majority of the time working with social media open and maybe spending a lot of the time on social media. Now, as I've already said right at the beginning of this live, is that there are some really positive aspects of social media. So this is not a social media bashing. This is like explaining what my journey has been with social media. And you all know that I love social media, but I also have other things that I love to do in my life, and I don't want to be drawn into social media all the frigging time. And one of the key kind of changes that's happened for me recently is that my eldest child has actually got a phone. And I discovered that obviously, you know, this was new for him and he was all like very excited about his phone, but I discovered he was walking around with his phone in his hand, and I was like, this is ridiculous, what's he doing that for? And then I realised that there are occasions when sometimes I walk around with my phone in my hand. And on our kind of retreat this weekend, you know, obviously that was coming up a lot. We're not alone with this kind of like addictive behaviour with our phones, because at the end of the day, we're not doing it because we're worried about missing a friend notification. We're doing it because we're running a business. So we're not all bonkers, crazy people. We are doing it because we're running a business, and obviously we want to be using it in a way that allows us to grow our business. So through this, in summary, I think where we've got to is that it's great. We all use it, but we all recognise that it can be addictive, it can be a drain, and it can be very, 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 very distracting and triggering. So one of the things that I put in place a little while ago in my business that's been working really well is to be really mindful about the times that I'm using social media. And I have cut down on the amount of time where I'm sat scrolling mindlessly. What I love is when you've been on holiday and you've maybe had your social media switched off and you go back to it after, you know, a week or 10 days, and instead of sitting there for like the next 10 days going through every bit of information that you've seen, actually you just kind of accept that you've missed some stuff and you feel okay about it. So there are some things that I'm doing differently in my business. So the absolutely key thing is that in order to use social media in the way that's going to be the most effective way for you and for your business and to allow you to grow, is to actually work like smarter, not harder. And what do I mean by that in terms of social media is that there's got to be periods of time when you consciously switch off social media, because that will allow you to work smarter. This will allow you to not be triggered, not to go down the path of following shiny objects, and it's going to allow you to focus and get things done. It's going to allow you to maybe have more creative space. So you've got, that empty headness that allows ideas to pop through. So that might be, the content of your next blog or your next live. It might be like the idea of a new program or something that you want to go out there and launch. Because we understand, don't we, as intelligent women, that social media, I'm not winking, I've just got something in my eye, is that social media interrupts like creative thoughts. So actually having time in your day when you consciously switch social media off, it's going to allow those creative thoughts to bubble through. So what we want to do is we want to be working smarter. So categorically, it's about switching off social media during the day and making like a pact with yourself, or doing whatever you need to do, that you're not going to go back on there for a period of time. So how do you still use social media and grow? And the very, very simple answer to that is that you have a social media strategy in place. So you have a very clear idea about how you're going to show up online, why you're showing up online, and when that's going to be. So I think Jen said that she's been scheduling a post. Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. So scheduling a post is a really great idea. Having a plan is a really great idea. And I would take it to the next level. And I was talking to the members of the 5K Club about this in a live masterclass that they had last week, about how you ensure that whatever marketing you do, and let's be honest, social media is marketing when you're running a business, is that every single marketing activity is there's a purpose for it. You're not just doing it willy-nilly, you're not spraying and praying. There is a purpose behind your marketing. So you can go on, you can create your content and it leads somewhere. And that's how you work smarter and not harder. And that's how you can switch off social media and actually get more stuff done. And it's not just about getting stuff done in the business, is it? It's about maybe creating more space for you to go and do something else. And so the number one thing is to have a social media strategy. What is your strategy? How is that linked into your marketing? How is your marketing supporting your business plans and your launches and so on and so forth? So there's a couple of things that you want to be putting into any social media strategy. Is you've got to decide, who you are, what your message is, who your audience is, where you're going to show up, when you're going to show up, what your key kind of pieces of content are going to be. Within that, it's about ensuring that you've got content that raises your profile, that connects you with other people, that allows you to grow your audience. It's about then nurturing the audience that you already have. And it's also about using social media to sell your products and services as well. So anybody who's using social media, and I'd love to know if from the women who are here now and anybody who's watching the recording back is, how many of you have a really clear plan about how you use social media in your business and what would be the purpose for you to schedule a load of posts. Where is that leading you to? Is it about visibility? Is it about nurturing? Is it preparing your audience for your next launch? Is it about positioning you as an expert? What is the purpose of each of those posts? Yeah, so Judith says she really needs to do that. So we'll keep on talking about this. I have just had a notification that I'm down low on my battery, which so I might just disappear. If I do, I'll jump onto the iPad and finish this off. But I just do want to flag one thing up, is that the live event that I'm running in York on Thursday next week, is a big part of it is looking at your visibility plan and ensuring that you've got a really clear strategy that helps you be more visible but leads to more sales. And obviously part of that is if you're using social media for your business, it's going to come into that. It's going to come in to looking at your visibility plan. So if you've been sat on the fence wondering if this is the right event for you, this is exactly what I'll be helping you to do, is to put in place a social media strategy that allows you to grow your business but to get off social media as well. So the full details of that event is over on my website, which is www.rachelsmithlifecoach.com. And the reason why I'm telling you about it now is that there are only 6 seats left, and today the last bonus that I'm putting on this, it ends, which is 30 days of implementation coaching is available when you buy the event ticket at the full price, which is £149. So for £149 you get the full event. You get your new profile picture taken by my amazing photographer, Helen. You get, the whole experience and connection that we're looking for with other like-minded people. And then I will help you implement the strategy that we come up with. So you don't just come to the event, it's all lovely, and then you go home and you return back to doing the same thing. I'm actually going to help you implement that. Yes, so if you want more information about that, just PM me or pop over to the website and have a look at that, because there are only just 6 seats left, and I really do want to close down these sales and get the people who this is resonating with in that event. Right, so Carol said this makes sense, use social media as a tool, it's not your job. Brilliant. Judith says she needs to do this. Judith, you can come to York, it'd be lovely to have you there. Brilliant. Jen says she has a strategy to become the expert and promote my services. No more cold pizza questions. I've missed that. There is an element where we can add our own personality into things, but really what I really want to impart today is that social media is a really powerful tool for us. And I know other amazing, massively successful online people who use social media, but they're on it and they're off it. And that's what I really want to encourage you to think about, is turning off your social media so you can be more effective in your business. You can have more creative space, more planning space, more aha moments, and maybe even more connections with real people outside in the real world. Social media is a fantastic tool, but we do need to be aware that it can, it's built to draw us in. Excuse me. So any questions from anything that I've shared, please post. I'm just very aware that my battery is going to probably give up in a minute. And if anybody's watching this back and they've got any questions, please post them in there. Just do a hashtag and put my name in, and I will see them, and I'll happily respond back to them. Oh, hang on. Okay. Any questions? Let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of conclude it there. I think we've looked at this. It's a really big topic. We'll maybe do more on it as well. What I'd like to do in the next live here is probably talk about the impact social media can have on your mindset, 'cause I think that's really important. So that's maybe the next one. But I think it's really, 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 really vital as entrepreneurs that we start to use social media in the way that supports us, our dreams and our businesses. Okay, so if we haven't got any questions about having a social media strategy and what that might look like, that's absolutely fine. If you've got questions because you're watching the recording back, just post them below and put a hashtag or tag me in it, and let's see how we get on with this. But yeah, let's maybe challenge ourselves for this week of switching social media off, and let's see how it goes. Come back and let me know what's going on for you. Have a really great Monday. Don't forget to switch your social media off. See you soon. Bye for now.